Alrighty, y'all. So today, I wanted to do a quick video to give you my thoughts on all of the new Toy Story 5 news that we got from D23 this past weekend, and my overall thoughts on Toy Story 5. So this past weekend, D23 happened, and probably the biggest presentation they had there was Toy Story 5, surprisingly. And they dropped tons of new images, a little bit of footage, and a lot of new information about this upcoming Toy Story 5. And just kind of wanted to cover it and give you my thoughts on it. And yeah, so let's get into it. So, the first thing is we found out who the villains of the new Toy Story 5 are going to be. So, we basically found out that the Lily Pad Kids tablet is going to be the primary antagonist for the film. They kind of showcased some artwork for it, including the one I'm showing for this video. They also had another villain that either will be maybe a sidekick or who knows, but it's a potty training toy that's going to be voiced by Conan O'Brien, out of all people. And they kind of showcase an image for him, and these two characters are going to be the primary antagonists for Toy Story 5. They also revealed that the film is going to be, including some commentary, of course, about kids being so obsessed with electronics and kind of choosing them over toys. And it's probably going to make some interesting commentary about that. They also revealed that either a subplot or something going to be involving a army of Buzz Lightyears that are going to get stranded on some kind of deserted island, most likely after a plane crash. They kind of showcase some footage of like some Buzz Lightyear toys waking up from their packaging, and then like some other footage showcasing a bunch of Buzz Lightyears, coming together on a raft to try to escape the deserted island. Now, these army of Buzzes are not the exact same as the Buzz that we all know from the main toy cast for the movie. They're kind of labeled, these new Buzzes are going to be labeled as the high-tech edition variants of the action figure, and there's really no differences except for the fact that there's like a Star Command crest added onto their chest. That's kind of like a black and blue variant of it. And I've also saw some others that feature like a red dot in the center of the chest as well. So slight differences, but for the most part, they seem like the same action figure. And like I said, this definitely is going to have a lot of Castaway vibes to it, but basically it's going to involve a bunch of Buzz Lightyears trying to get off a deserted island. Now, how that's going to actually connect to the main story and the plot, who knows? But that's apparently going to be part of Toy Story 5. So my quick thoughts on all this news. For one, I kind of figured, I already kind of knew the tablet was probably going to be a villain in the movie just because they showcased some artwork for it like months ago, and this basically kind of confirms it. And in terms of the Conan O'Brien toy, potty training toy, I I really don't know what to say about that. I mean, the fact that Conan O'Brien is in a Toy Story movie, and of all the characters he's voicing that character, it is really interesting. I'm not really sure how to make of that. Now the Army of Buzz thing as well. I don't know how to make of that. I mean, I didn't even expect that to be in Toy Story 5. So I'm not really sure how that's going to connect to the main plot, or what is that going to do with anything. But for the most part, it does sound all interesting stuff. Um, I think it definitely could be interesting if it's done well. I mean, the tablet to me makes a lot of sense, though. I mean, at some point, I figured like Toy Story, if they were going to keep making movies, which I personally think it should have stopped after Toy Story 3, regardless, I think the tablet makes sense for a villain. I mean, a lot of kids these days play with electronics instead of toys. And, if you're going to make a modern day movie about toys, there's going to be some kind of commentary, some kind of involvement with electronics. There has to be. So the fact is, they're finally doing it. It's going to be an interesting take. Now for my overall quick impressions and thoughts on Toy Story 5 in general. Eh, I mean, I'm a bit mixed on it. I mean, I think for one, I think all the voice actors are coming back, and I think the original director of some of the earlier Toy Story movies is coming back to do it. Not the same guy who did the fourth movie. And I mean, the idea that this is going to be kind of a commentary, either for or against, I'm not really sure. Kids using electronics is definitely going to be an interesting one. But I really hope it's done with some intelligence and grace. It's not like done from like a boomer perspective or like all electronics are bad. because it's much more complicated than that. So I'm hoping, at least there's a more nuanced and thought-provoking, commentary on it. And I think it's a good thing to at least have a Toy Story movie address it, because I was a bit surprised that the last one didn't even address it. Um, in terms of the other elements, like the Army of Buzzes, I'm not really sure how to make of it. I'm not even sure how that's going to connect with anything, but kind of a wait and see. I've just kind of been meh on Toy Story 5 in general, just because I honestly don't feel like it's necessary. In my opinion, Toy Story 3 was really the ending to the Toy Story franchise. It ended in a way that was, good enough, and, it kind of was a really good finale to the series. I think the problem comes because Toy Story movies make so much money, and I think lately Pixar movies, I think they made like an original movie called Elio that bombed. Some of their more recent movies have bombed, so they kind of keep coming back to Toy Story to keep making movies because these movies make so much money. And it doesn't help that the original director of the Toy Story movies, I think one of the original creatives, said that, like, we can make Toy Story movies as much as we want. Toy Story 3 was not really an ending, which is a wild thing to say, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just a bit mixed on it. I just don't think it's extremely necessary. I mean, I felt the same way when I watched Toy Story 4 finally. It was a movie that, like, I came out of it and thinking, wow, it was a pretty solid follow up, but it was completely unnecessary. If this movie never existed, it would have been fine. I think Toy Story as a franchise would have been completely fine. It wasn't at all necessary. Especially with some of the weird story changes they made to Toy Story 4 as well, but that's besides the point. I kind of get the same vibe from this movie. I'm not really quite sure why they're making it. I mean, I guess, like I said, the whole kids electronic angle could be interesting, but it depends how it's done, right? And I'm just not really, I don't really care. I am a little bit excited. I'm intrigued, I guess is the best word to describe it. I really just got to see a trailer for Toy Story 5 to really truly say anything about the movie, but overall, I'm just very meh on Toy Story 5. I don't really think it's needed. Toy Story 3, in my opinion, was already the true finale. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of make some commentary and give you my thoughts on all the new Toy Story 5 news and my general thoughts on the movie itself, it coming out next year. Hopefully, y'all, maybe y'all share some of my same opinions. If y'all see this video, definitely let me know. Thanks for all the support, and peace out, y'all. Have a good day.